Hi, everyone. Welcome to the overview of the JCFS Chicago externship program. My name is Carrie Hill. I am the Assistant Director of Psychological Services, and I'm also the Training Director, and I'm joined by my colleagues, Dr. Elisa Slay and Dr. Michelle Giffray. I'll let them introduce themselves real quick.
Hi, I'm Dr. Elisa Slay. I'm the Senior Director of Outpatient Behavioral Health and the Director of Psychological Services. And I'm based at our office in Northbrook at the Kirsten Center.
And I'm Michelle Giffray. I am the postdoctoral fellow here, and I am based out of Knapp and our Kirsten Center in Northbrook.
I forgot to mention I'm primarily based out of the Kirsten Center in Northbrook. We also have two other psychologists who are part of our training program, Dr. Pia Tadras and Dr. Barbara Danis. So what we wanted to do, since the practicum fair is working a little bit differently this year, was give our overview of what our externship program entails, the type of students that we take, and then you guys will have an opportunity to ask us questions that you might have when we have the practicum fair. So in terms of overview, as you may have picked up, our training program has two locations. So one is at the Knapp Center, which is located in West Rogers Park, and then the second is in Northbrook at the Kirsten Center. It's about a 20-minute drive between the two locations. In terms of the externship, we take 2 to 4 externs. So we take 1 to 2 diagnostic externs, and Elisa will talk a little bit about what is involved in the diagnostic externship. And then we take 1 to 2 either intermediate or advanced therapy externs. And Michelle and I will talk a little bit about some activities that both the diagnostic and the therapy externs are involved in. In terms of, and typically we would have we would have people placed either at the Knapp location or at the Kirsten location, although all externs will spend some time at the Kirsten office because that's where our disruptive behavior and anxiety behavior clinics are housed, and it's where our training activities take place on Friday mornings. In terms of, I'll talk a little bit about the therapy externship. So actually, before I do that, let me back up. I'm going to talk about the two different sites and kind of the differences between the two sites. So Knapp is located in West Rogers Park. Because of its location, the clients seen at that site are a little bit more socioeconomically and probably ethnically and racially diverse. It's also located in a large Orthodox community, and so there are more Orthodox Jewish clients seen at the Knapp Center than at the Kirsten Center. Kirsten is probably more kind of middle to upper SES, a little bit less ethnically diverse. Outside of the demographic differences, the clients that we see in terms of age ranges and presenting problems are very similar across the two locations. So we see clients across the lifespan. We see a wide range of presenting problems, a wide range of diagnoses. So the actual clinical work we're doing is very similar at the two sites. So going back to the therapy, so for an intermediate student, typically they will see between 6 and 8 therapy clients a week. That could be a mixture of individual clients. It could be couples work. It might be with children, with adolescents, with adults. For the advanced therapy extern, typically their therapy caseload is a little bit lower, 4 to 6 clients, and then they do 2 to 3 assessments over the course of the training year. Trying to think if there's anything else I should say. Couple things in terms of clients seen at the agency. Clients do not need to be Jewish to receive services here, nor do you need to be Jewish to either work here or train here. In terms of getting to either of our locations, neither Knapp nor Kirsten is easily accessible by public transportation. You can do it. So while you don't need to have a car. You do need to be comfortable with public transportation or taking ride shares in order to get to either of our locations. Um, Supervision for all of the externs. So each extern is assigned one of the licensed psychologists to get, and they get an hour of supervision. So I would provide supervision to the therapy externs. Elisa would provide therapy to diagnostic externs. Each of our externs also gets supplemental supervision from our interns in our APA approved internship program. So they get 1 hour of supplemental supervision from the intern. And then all of the externs also receive 1 hour of group supervision through our disruptive behavior clinic. And then I think the last thing, unless I forgot something, was to, in terms of talking about the required days, required days are Thursday and Friday. So Thursday is our disruptive behavior clinic, and then Friday is when our training activities occur, typically on Friday mornings from about 9:30 till anywhere between 11 and 1 at our Northbrook location. So those would both be days that externs would need to be available. The other days, I think our preference is for a Monday or a Tuesday, just because the agency is open longer on those days. I know for the therapy extern, those are the days that I see clients later, so I'm available for when externs are seeing their evening clients. Anything I forgot, Elisa or Michelle?
Do you want to talk about our Friday morning training activities?
Sure. So it's a variety of activities. So we have case presentations. Case presentations will be done by staff as well as the externs and the interns. We have experiential activities that take place. We have some outside presenters. So for example, this morning, we had a school psychologist come and present about testing during our training seminar. The other activities that take place on Friday mornings, there's two. One is we have a diversity newsletter or new like seminar where each of the students creates a diversity newsletter and that does an hour presentation. Those happen about once a month. And then the other activity is we have open case consultation, again, about once a month where everyone, staff, trainees come and present on either a case they may be struggling with, a testing case, a therapy case, or just a larger clinical issue. And it's just a nice opportunity for people to have a space to get some consultation. So that cover it?
Yes. In addition to those training activities, the agency, we also have a lunch and learn series within the outpatient behavioral health department. And then in general, other types of trainings that the agency might offer. Oftentimes, externs are welcome to attend. Should I go into just talk?
Yeah, you want to talk about testing?
All right, I'll talk about testing. So for testing, the majority, we test clients between the ages of roughly 3 through adults. The majority of our testing is on school-age children, so probably kids between like 1st and 8th grade. Most of the clients that we test are referred either by schools that we have a relationship with, pediatricians, psychiatrists, other types of private practitioners in the community, or parents who call, just kind of word of mouth, have contacted us for testing. Although the majority of our tested cases are kids, we do test adults and do our best to make sure that externs have at least one adult testing case over the course of the year here. Our goal is for externs to do between 8 and 10 psychological evaluations over the course of the year, in addition to specialized batteries that they do in the disruptive behavior clinic that Michelle will talk about next. Many of the cases that we test, there are issues happening at school. And so the referral questions have to do with trying to get a better understanding as to why a child or adolescent is struggling at school. That can be related to things like specific learning disorders, ADHD, autism spectrum disorders, or anxiety, depression, any number of underlying social emotional factors. So we do very comprehensive batteries. We have a large library of tests at the agency. And our batteries aren't, they're not cookie cutter. We don't have a standard battery that we give our clients. Typically, we will start with some core tests, look at that data, and then from there determine what path to go down in terms of our initial hypotheses. So if based on initial data, we think that there's a specific learning disorder, then we'll give more tests to look at things like reading and writing, are things that would contribute to that. If we think that it's ADHD, we'll give more tests focused on attention, learning, and memory. Externs see the testing case all the way through. So they start with an intake appointment with the client or with the parents. They do all of the testing. They may do a classroom observation at school, or collect collateral information from teachers or therapists. They score the tests, they do the report writing, and then most cases, at the very end, then do a feedback session with the client. For some cases, we also will do a feedback session at the school. Our reports tend to be, I think, a little bit longer, but that is because we take a very comprehensive and thorough approach to testing, rather than using a shorter battery, a shorter standard battery, where you just kind of give the same battery and go for quantity. Am I forgetting anything? Have I covered everything for testing?
Think so.
Okay. Then I should also add that we do have a lot of online scoring platforms for many of the tests that we use that students will have access to. And that I think is it. I'll turn it over to Michelle.
So as Carrie and Elisa mentioned, externs have the opportunity to be involved in the disruptive behavior clinic and our anxious behavior clinic, and those meet Thursday mornings in Northbrook. And typically through those clinics, we'll see children between the ages of 2 and 12 with emotion and behavior regulation challenges that can include things like disruptive behavior, oppositional behavior, attentional concerns, and anxiety. And those initial assessments consist of an intake with parents, developmental testing with the child, and then a structured observation of child and parent interactions. And then we will write a brief report and go over the report with the family during feedback, and oftentimes recommend therapy or intervention through our disruptive behavior clinic or anxiety clinic. And so therapy externs are often involved in the treatment and therapy with the families, and then diagnostic externs have the opportunity to be involved in the testing. In terms of the interventions, we use evidence-based parent behavior management training, as well as a SPACE, which is supportive parenting for anxious childhood emotions. Did I forget anything in terms of disruptive behavior?
I don't think so. Any other things that you guys wanted to cover before we wrap it up? So thank you for taking the time to learn more about JCFS Chicago's training program. We will be present at the practicum fair, so if you have questions, we will be happy to try and answer them. If you have specific questions about the application process, you are welcome to email me directly. My email address is my name, so it's CARRI Hill, HILL at jcfs.org. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you at the practicum fair.